Hi, my name is Chicoro, and I want to share with you a pre-treatment or protein treatment that I use on my hair on a weekly basis. It is something that I make, and there are two critical components that you need to have. The first component is soft tofu, and I use all of this. There's firm tofu, but don't use that one because it'll leave a residue in your hair. The second component I use that's critical are amino acids. I use the three sulfur-bearing amino acids. The first one I use is N-acetyl cysteine. The second one that I use is cysteine. And the third one I use is methionine. You can see that. Methionine. And I get these from Joe Mar Labs, and they do ship internationally. So I use 1/3 teaspoon of each of these, and I dissolve them in water, and then I add it to the tofu. And I put this in dry hair that I am going to wash. Again, these two pieces are critical, the amino acids and the tofu. The one thing that you need to know about this process, it has no slip. So what I like to do is add anywhere from 1 tablespoon to 1/4 teaspoon of any oil I like. And I like to add 1/4 cup of aloe vera. And then I blend it in a blender and I put it on my dry hair. The reason why I use this is because the hair strand on the surface is made up of lipid and protein material. And they call it a lipoprotein. And in order for the product to penetrate the amino acids, they need to have a fatty base, which is tofu. And you can use Greek yogurt if you want as well. And what happens is the amino acids go into the hair strand, and they are what we call hygroscopic. That means that they attract water. And so I'm always trying to get and keep moisture, water in my hair strand so that I can maintain the flexibility and the health of the structure of the hair. So what I want to do now is show you what I do. And that's what it looks like. I did not take the water out the tofu, so you don't have to worry about that. I have already mixed my amino acids with enough water to dissolve them. So this is a teaspoon of amino acids, 1/3 methionine, 1/3 cysteine, 1/3 cystine. And I'm going to pour that into the blender. And you can add about 1/4 tablespoon, or 1/4 cup, excuse me, of aloe vera. And I use aloe vera gel. And I'm going to eyeball it. And you don't want to put too much of this in here because it'll make it too runny and it'll be all down your neck. So I'm going to add about this much and put that in there. Okay. Now the other thing I said before was that this doesn't have a lot of slip. So what I want to do is put in some olive oil. You can use any oil you like. So I'm going to use that cup and probably put an equal amount of oil that I use for aloe vera. So I'm going to put that much in and put that in my mix. And that will help a little bit with the slip because oil is lubricating. Water is moisturizing, oil is lubricating. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and blend this, and then I'll be back in a minute. Once you blend it, this will be the consistency of how it looks. And then I'm going to take this and put it on each bantu knot. So I'll go ahead and do one for you. So I'm going to unravel this. And you can see that my hair is dry. I don't have any product in my hair. And I did these last night when my hair was wet. So it's a little bit straighter than it usually is. And then I'm simply going to dip my fingers in here, and then put this on my hair. And I like bantu knots or sections so I can make sure I get it in all of my hair. You can add things to it like essential oils, but my suggestion is the first time you might want to just do it with the basic ingredients so you can know if your hair likes it or not. when you have a lot of things inside of a product, a lot of times you don't know what works and what doesn't. So I'm putting this throughout the hair, and then I'm just going to put it back in a Bantu knot. So I'm doing it from root to tip. As you can see, I put it all the way on the ends, and I make sure I get it here, all the way on the roots. And then, right now it's white, but what will happen is my hair will absorb this. So, and it does smell like tofu. So if you have a soy allergy, you don't want to use this either. And then I'm going to wrap it back up. And do the next one. And you probably will need a towel because this can be a little bit messy. So I'm going to get a towel and I'll go ahead and do the rest. And I'll be back. Okay, so I coated the entire head with the product. And you can see I used almost all of it on my entire head. So now what I'm going to do is put on a plastic bag and let this absorb into the hair a bit more for about 30 minutes. And then I'll show you what that looks like after it's absorbed for a little bit. Okay, so now the product has stayed in here for about 30 minutes. And you can see that, you can still see some of it, but it's pretty much absorbed into my hair. And there you can see how moist it looks. And it's not all white. Now there is one extra step that I take, and you can do this and it's optional, and I didn't mention this before, but I use coconut oil. And what I do is I put the coconut oil on top of this. And then I let it sit for maybe 10 more minutes, and then I wash it. So I'm going to do this optional step for me, and so I'll show you with one of my Bantu knots what it looks like. So I'm going to take out this one up here, and you see it's got moisture in it, but it's not really, not too wet or not too white. So here's one of them, and I'm going to take a little bit of this and put it in my palm. And then I'm going to run it on top of the hair. And again, I still have that mixture in my hair. So I'm going to do it from root to tip. And make sure it's in there really well. And you can combine your Bantu knots. What I'm going to do is put these in braids. So I'm going to take out another one. Again, see, that's water coming out. So I'm going to take out these three. I'm going to add a little bit more coconut oil to the hair. And then I'm going to add this one as well. And add a little more coconut oil to that. Okay. And so you can either put it back into Bantu knots, but I think I'm going to section this into 2 braids so I can wash my hair in braids. So see my hair, it's really, really shiny and moist. And again, I don't have any products in it. Just the pre-treatment with the tofu, the amino acids, and then the coconut oil on top. And this is the results. What I'm going to do now is style my hair and really just put it in a ponytail and do the baggy treatment or the baggy method for the rest of the week that's coming up. So I hope this has been helpful for you, and maybe there's something here that you can use to help you with your hair, to bring moisture to your hair.